Good afternoon, loves, and welcome to the Inspire with Shika My'Chelle Show. I am your host and the show's producer, Shika My'Chelle, founder and CEO of 501c3 nonprofit organization, Beautifully Unique Incorporated, and owner and CEO of inspirational brand Inspired by Shika My'Chelle LLC. Now, on the sides of me, these are no strangers to the guests, to the show, and I'm not even going to call them my guests. I'm going to call them my co-hosts of the day. I have my engineer who is finally back. One of my engineers, Taisha.
Yeah, Ty.
Waterman, yes. And my big bro, who is no stranger to the show, Elder Melvin J. Robinson Jr., Mr. Heaven Sent, Mr. Songbird, Mr. Get Your Life, Mr. The Anointed One. Yes, I'm going to take a minute first. We're going to do something different because I don't know how God is going to move. Because he just does some things. He shows up and shows out every Tuesday. So I want to go to my amazing sponsor. I want to thank him first and foremost. The Inspire with Shika My'Chelle Show is sponsored by Allstate Insurance Company agency owner Jermaine Matthews. If you're looking for an honest and knowledgeable insurance agent, look no further. Please contact Mr. Matthews and his team for all of your insurance needs at 516-941-1641. Again, that is Mr. Jermaine Matthews, Allstate, 516-941-1641. Welcome, guys. Welcome and welcome and welcome back.
Welcome.
T-A-I. Thank you, baby.
You know, we are live. If you are tuning in for the first time, go back and watch the other videos because we are live and this is what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we do. She said, "Get it right, get it right," and yeah, put some respect on her name. Is what she said. What is that? The 8th, February 8th. Lord have mercy, Jesus. You guys don't know how hot it is up under these lights. Thank God for it. It might just be me in this heavy sweater. I don't know what I was thinking. It's winter. I'm confused at the weather. It's like one day it's freezing. It's like one day it's freezing. The next day it's like.
I know why it's hot in here because Mother Exie just left.
She just lit it up. Yeah.
That's why it's hot in here.
She just lit it up. She did. And it's funny because I came in on the end of her. Shout out to Mother Exio. She's a beast. Okay, shout out for setting the atmosphere every single Tuesday. Before
Lord
I even
mercy.
sit down in this seat, she already sets the atmosphere, and we just got to walk in and let God move. But she was actually talking about Friends, and the end of the part that I caught. Whatever you guys watched, I know it was amazing because she gets it in.
Yeah.
But I caught the end about friendships, and being mindful of the people around you, and it's something that has been said to me, which is really great. That's why I said she was in my business, because it's something that's been said to me since December. It's something that's been prophesied to me in private for me to watch my surroundings and the people that are trying to gravitate towards me, and some of the people that are in my inner circle even now. And that's why I said, ooh, she's in my business. But shout out to you. But Mel was here last week the week before last, because we were not here last week, with Dr. Bobby. I said we was not here last week. He was here last week. No, he was here by himself if he was here last week. The week before last. Mel was like, nah, sis, I wasn't here.
I did my own show.
You just came on.
I did my own.
He said, well, Sheik not going to be here. I'm going to stand there.
Outside on the porch.
You go live wherever you choose. You go live.
Right.
Whenever the spirit moves, you go.
Just live.
I can't. She is out of control. This is what we do, y'all. This is what we do.
We are live.
I am, and I'm not even going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for the things that happen. This is what happens when you're not scripted.
But you know what? While we're on that subject of friendship, someone put something on Facebook, and I can't remember. It was one of my boys. He asked a question: is there a Bible verse that talks about or legitimizes cutting people off. And the only thing I can come up with is that the Bible says, Jesus said, to sanctify yourselves. In other words, be ye separate, saith the Lord. So be ye separate from what and from who? So I would take it on the premise of if the person that you're connected to is not adding to your life,
that's right. That's right.
then there's only one other thing they can do, which is take away from it.
That's right.
Therefore, you separate yourself from them, but it doesn't mean that you don't love them.
That's very true.
You still have to love. You have to love me regardless. No matter what, you have to love me. Make it into heaven, you have to love me. But it doesn't mean I have to deal with you.
Very true.
It doesn't mean I have to sit down and go take you out to dinner and all that. No, we're not doing none of that.
Love 'em from a
You know what I mean? Because of the fact that you are a contamination to what God may want to do in my life.
Okay.
Therefore, I have to wipe my hands clean of you.
That's right.
Because of the fact that you're in the way.
Yeah.
Just put it
Blocking
plain
your
and simple.
You're in the way.
You're in the way.
My blessings.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And there's people that can do that. You know, if you don't separate yourself
If you're not
from them. You know, and even if it's family members, sometimes
I
family.
was getting ready to say that.
Sometimes family. Thank God I don't have that.
Well,
Thank God. Some people.
You preaching to the choir here. You know what bothers me though, when people feel like just because somebody distances themselves from you, it means that they hate you. Or
No,
no, it
no,
does
it has
not. It
nothing to
doesn't
do-
mean
no.
that anybody's holding
No.
on to animosity,
Nope.
that they hate you, that they it just means that you are not conducive
Exactly.
to where they're going. You no longer, and it's not that they don't. No, it's pretty much they don't serve a purpose to this season in your life. They do not serve a purpose. They're doing more hindering than they are, helping to cultivate your gifts and to bring you forth. So it's not that you hate that person or there's any animosity. The bottom line is the season is just over.
It's just over.
You know, and it goes for friends, and unfortunately, it goes for family. It doesn't mean that you don't love your family, but the reality is there are people that are in our bloodline that are more toxic than our friends. You know, and we have to be very careful if we want what God has for us. If we truly, because I didn't want to touch on this yet, but it's
right here.
It does.
just
I'm just
go
going.
with it. Yeah.
I'm
Just
gonna
flow with
flow
it.
because that's where. See, that's what I told you.
That-
The spirit book. You move, I move, just like that. This is why you're not a guest of the show. This is why you're my special co-host, because everybody that sits on this platform has a voice. My voice is not the one that matters. We all have a voice, and this is what I love about this show, is being able to find out, different. You're knowledgeable in areas that I may not be. So I love being a sponge every week and being able to pick up and soak up things. But that goes to I was saying before, I believe, I did. A friend and I went to go see Oprah 2 weeks ago at the Barclays, and it was one of those events that was like life changing. Like it really. I don't think that you could have left that arena and not been changed in one shape or form. First of all, it was an all-day event. It started about 9:30, and we didn't get out until 4.
Wow.
When I say all day, it was all day, but they had meditation, they had us exercise, they had us in the Barclays, and you know how tight that arena is. Had us exercising. Then they had powerful speakers like Rachel Hollis, who was hilarious, and the Michelle Obama.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah, that was nice.
The Michelle Obama. I almost lost it when she came out, but just being around such powerful people and being able to pick up this knowledge that they were laying down. And Oprah is, if anybody knows me, Oprah, Dr. Maya Angelou, and Ayan Lavanza, I do. I don't have to love everything that they may have done or what they're doing now. But as a black woman, and especially a black woman, like for me, Ayanla was always about the self-help.
Yeah.
So, and her story, a lot of her backstory
Do your work.
had something to do with me, like it connected to me. I'm a writer, So therefore, Dr. My'Chelle, she was my favorite. And then you factor in Oprah, who was just okay, but to see powerful women, but it happened at a time that week. It actually was coming off of the controversy with her best friend and host Gayle King, the interview she had with Lisa Leslie. And I think what bothered me about the backlash in the very beginning was it was an interview that supposedly had been aired prior to. And she kind of got caught in the mix because they took the snippet and this is what they chose to put out there because that's what's gonna, but when you're in media, you do understand that you have to watch the whole interview to get the full gist of what was said.
That's right.
Because they're just showing you a little bit of clip because they want you now to pay attention. That was the whole goal. Unfortunately, she got caught in the line of fire. And she should be more experienced to know that this is what's coming, but she's human. And there was a conversation where people were very upset about the question, and it's too soon, and black people are always tearing other black people down, and to some degree, I agree. But there was the host of BET News, Mark Lamont Hill, get his name right. He made a point of stating, you can have a critique of Gayle King, even though people should watch the whole interview, but Snoop, because he spoke out most harshly first, should be accountable for the way he engaged her. He called her a funky dog face B-word. And he was stating that we have to be able to express our hurt and anger without dehumanizing each other. So I'm going to ask you first, Ty, what are your thoughts about the way that we interact with each other?
Well, hearing those snippets from that interview and hearing what Snoop said, it's Snoop Dogg, and not everything that he says is going to come off nicely because he's a type of person, if he feels it, he's going to speak it, but he's not too much so negative. And the snippet that I heard, the piece that they put out that I heard, he said, I would like to call you this. I feel like I need to call you this, but he didn't actually say it.
But he actually did. He actually did. Even if I indirectly say something to you, you've already put it in the atmosphere. And what we're not going to do is say, well, he's Snoop, so how is it? That's like relatives that are nasty and toxic, being nasty and toxic. And you saying, but that's just them, so we gotta forget. We can't overlook the fact that
I'm not saying we have to forget it. But you, like you said, you have these family members that when they say something, they're not gonna say it the best way, and it's like, well, if something comes out of her mouth, it's gonna be like not excusing what was said, but if the topic is his delivery, do you really expect anything better?
I don't, but that's the sad part. We don't expect better. We don't expect, and I think that's the thing that kind of bothers me. I understand being hurt. And turn your mic on, sir, Rob, because you might want to chime in on that. I see you lean towards the mic if you had something to say. I'm not excusing the interview,
right,
or the question, because I did feel he took it all off. He has nothing to say. I'm not excusing that whatsoever because I feel like
bad time. I feel like it's bad timing.
Forget that it was bad timing. I feel like the situation that happened with Kobe, nobody was talking about anymore when Kobe was alive.
Right.
So my issue is
why bring it up now
to the table at all? Because he'd done several interviews after that, and nobody had a conversation.
And now the man is not here to defend himself.
And now you
taint his reputation.
Exactly. But that has become something that we do as a people, to each other. The minute that our influential blacks die, I mean, we knew your Whitney Houstons, your Michael Jacksons, you know that there were things that were talked about. Why does it not die with them? Because you don't see white people tearing down each other. You don't see them bringing up all of the things that happened from the time they were 2 years old,
right,
until the time that they died.
And that's what upset me.
it's like white media, the owners, we'll say that, will plant the seed, and us
run with it.
Being who we are, we run with it. Don't keep looking like speak. You better speak.
Come on, Rob.
I see his face. Come on, Rob.
I'm gonna tell you like this. It's just like Fox News when the Kobe incident happened. Okay, Fox News made sure that they said, they talked about the accident, and then right behind that, they brought up the incident with Kobe and the young lady years ago. And that was the next thing. I mean, but everyday news is like this. If a black person gets murdered accidentally,
the first thing they look for.
The first thing that they do is they'll say, "Oh, so and so got murdered," blah blah blah. But and then they'll bring up something that happened in 1957. That's right.
He used his daddy sold drugs
in high school.
Exactly.
He was suspended.
That's right.
But when it's
Johnny,
let's say Johnny
Elvis.
Carson, or one of the famous white people, Kirk Douglas, for instance. Now there was some stuff in his past, but you didn't hear nothing when he passed. It was just Kirk Douglas passed, and he was a great actor.
They get to die with their legacy intact.
Back in today, and that was it. That's all you heard.
Yep.
But we, as a people, we're so, and I think that's what disappoints me is the fact that we are the bone carriers. They set the tone. They throw it out there. They say, "Let me throw these pebbles out there and see what they're gonna do with it." And we pick it up and run, and then we'll blast it all over social media. And my issue is, do you not realize that we're hoping to spread the cancer? We're hoping to spread it by sharing it. We're helping to spread it. So you can't say I'm outraged and then spread it because you're doing what it is that they want you to do anyway. The thing is, we have to learn to have real conversations and be okay with having real conversations. And we can't be okay with saying, "Well, I'm gonna excuse this one because this is the type of stuff that they do."
No, we have to be able to agree to disagree, but not degrade.
Right. Absolutely.
And that is, as far as our community is concerned, we can disagree all day, on certain subjects, but we don't have to degrade to make our point.
That's right. And I think that was what was bothersome to me. I agree with the fact that, come on, really? Did you really even ask that question? And she was his friend, so, and then what? Why would you think to even, first of all, you got set up. Why would you even, I'd have skipped over that question and clicked what I'm not going to do is that one. You're Gayle King. Really, you've made a name for yourself. If nothing else, you Oprah's best friend. You get fired from over there, Oprah set you up. You are Gayle King. You mean to tell me that if it was me, they'd have cut me off and nobody would have cared nothing more, but they'd be like, "Oh, that's that little black girl." Next, we're just going to get the next little black girl to come up and speak. But Gayle King has a reputation and a name for her, so she has influence. She has a following. So I feel like that was poor taste on her part because she allowed herself to get set up.
Exactly.
You're not new to this game to be that foolish to believe that they weren't going to use that little snippet to gain viewers. Why would you not? Kobe had just died. Why would you not use that
She
part?
should have just said, the man is gone. That's in the past. Next subject.
You mean Gayle?
Why even
I wouldn't have brought it up at all.
Why even bring it up? Because what I found out is, and I don't know why is it, that the only community that I don't see, other communities, they can come together and make things happen.
Yes. Yes.
I've seen the Spanish community do
Jewish,
it. I've seen
Spanish.
They can come together and they can make things happen. Yes. And then we get mad when they start setting up shop.
They come and taking our jobs. No,
they're doing what you should be doing.
That's right. That's right.
You're not possessing the land.
Oh.
But the reason why is, and we talked about this a few shows ago. There's a spirit of legalism. Legalism says, I'm going to expose you. Just in case, if I want to do something, the spotlight won't be on me, but it'll be on you.
Yes.
Right.
See, I don't know what I'm not saying that she has anything to hide. I don't know what the deal is, but we seem to do that all the time, and it's just it has become almost like a very bad habit.
Yeah.
Like
That we just want to kill each other just because. I don't know what. I think it's a spirit.
Yeah.
You know, on the spiritual aspect, it's a spirit. It's a spirit. I'm just gonna get you.
That's right.
You
I
know,
don't want to see. You know what? I see your potential.
Yeah.
And I see you got the potential to go somewhere that I'm probably never
Never
gonna
go.
see.
So I'm gonna get you
I need
off.
to stop.
Nipsey.
That very true. Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed, with that being said, the ones that are not taking accountability for doing their part in our community, I'm going to say our community, the ones that point the finger. Yet the ones that try to take up the baton and the candle and light it and pass it on, you take them out. And then you complain about, look what they're doing in our community. Well, you just tore down somebody one of us that was doing,
trying to
and
make
you
a
could have
difference.
bandwidth and join and pave the way, because it's hard for us to even get away to do any of the stuff that we dream of or we envision and we do. It's hard
didn't grow
enough.
up with the silver spoon in our mouths. We didn't grow up everything. And then, girl, thank you for going there, because I was, as you were speaking, I was thinking, I saw a lot of posts on social media that had this backlash, you know, Coonan talking about Oprah and Gayle and how they're always against black people. And that so disappointed me, because it factors back into this. Neither one of them grew up with the silver spoon.
Right.
Everything. And if you listen to Oprah's backstory,
it's hard.
And what, you know, like the fact that nobody gave her anything. She worked to be where she is right now. And then for me, it disappoints me when us as a people, we don't have to agree with everything somebody does.
Right.
They're human. You don't agree with everything that your mama or your friends do. But you still love them. Like you don't blast them on. Well, some of you do blast them on.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But it bothers me because it's like, so we're gonna look at this small picture, and so now we're gonna discount and discredit every amazing thing that Oprah has done. And I think what it bothers me is the fact that we are an entitled people. Like, we feel like because Oprah is black, she owes us something. and it's like, yeah, the goal is to be able to, you want to be able to pour into communities, you know, to be able to help your own people. But let's be clear. These people don't owe us anything. We have the same 24 hours in a day.
She paid back already what she was supposed to pay back. You know what that is? She paved a way for black women to be even sitting on television, period.
Blueprint.
That's
Blueprint.
it. She did her job.
I think we want something for nothing. And that, for me, is like we've become entitled. Like we feel like, and what bothers me even more is not just that we're entitled and we feel like they owe us something, is that we're so stuck in a bubble that we feel like if they don't promote it on social media, it doesn't happen. Like they believe that some celebrities are not charitable because they don't post it all over social media, because they don't have the news following them everywhere they go. You know, some people just genuinely do things because it is in their heart to do.
And that's the Bible way. You know, don't do your deeds before men, but do them before God, so that you do them in secret, then God will reward you openly.
Yep.
Because if you broadcast, that's a spirit of Pharisee.
Okay.
Pharisee says, I'm going to do this because I want to look good in the eyes of people. So they were always, you know, Jesus had a problem with them, because every time they came around, if you notice, Jesus always had something to say when they came around. Anytime the Pharisees says he came around, he got an attitude. Now this Jesus, this is Jesus now.
Here comes these Pharisees.
You fools, you vipers, what are y'all doing here? You know, he always had something to say, and he came out at them like that. Oh, you fool, you brood of vipers, you snakes, you know, he called them names because he knew the intent of their heart.
He called a spade a spade.
Yeah, he did.
As he saw it.
He did. He called them
He called them out. He didn't degrade them. He called them out for what they were.
That's right. He said, you are not of your father. He said, you are of your father, the devil. That's what he told him. He said, you are not Abraham's seed. You are of your father, the devil.
But some people, you got to do that too. They put themselves on a pedestal. You got to chip them down.
But
Bring them back to reality.
The thing is that just like God got children, the devil got children too.
Okay.
But we don't ever want to say that. We don't ever know. No, the devil got kids too.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's trying to be like God. He took a third of heaven and drew them to himself.
Because he's trying to get on that same level.
You see? So the devil got kids working just as the wheat and tear grow together. God said, don't you do anything. He said, I'll do the separating, because if you bring them up, you might bring some of the wheat up with it.
Yep.
He said, I know how to separate them because I can tell the difference, because you may not be able to tell the difference because they look like you, they sound like you. They can do exactly what you can do.
Doesn't that sound like Friends?
Exactly like Friends. See?
Oh, those that pretend to be your friend.
That see, and I got a problem with that. Keep your friends close, but your enemies
closer.
No way.
It's only because people that seem to be close to you, the closest to you, maybe your enemies. You got to keep your eye on them.
You better keep your eye on them. You better keep your eyes
Close
open.
To keep your eye on
You
them.
need discernment.
That's right.
It's called discernment.
Yes.
Red flags will go up. You know, when you know that there's somebody around in your circle, or that you come into a certain place and them red flags go up, you know right there something's not right.
Yes.
Something is about to go down. You know, but I'm not going to stick around to find out.
No.
Melt it out unless God has me there for a specific reason. You know, if it's to deliver,
fulfill that purpose, and then I'm
exactly because remember what happened with Paul and Silas. You know, God shook the jail and the door swung open, the chains were loose. You know what I mean? But they were still in there. The jailer, he was up somewhere knocked out. When he woke up, they were still in there. Then why didn't y'all leave? He said, no, because we're here. We have to be here so that we can help you.
Right.
See, we wasn't stuck. We stayed.
I like that.
Because if we had a left, you wouldn't be delivered. And God left us here. We stayed here for you.
I think you just spoke into my life.
The anointed one. Y'all gotta stop playing. You know, I be knowing what I'm talking about when I be putting words in.
Hey, it's about a flow. It's about a flow. It's about a flow.
That is that part. Just
let it live.
That part. You know, we wasn't live. I let it. Did y'all catch that? Because we live, and if that didn't hit you, we gonna have something else. If that didn't hit you, then you need to check your pulse or read your word, one or the other. But like you said, the friends, we have been at Destiny House. Apostle has been talking about pruning season. We've been having this series.
She in my message.
Pruning.
Where's she at? Is she on? I can't even see. Dr. Pepper, if you on, I need you to text me because I'm talking about. On Sunday, I'm preaching on fruitfulness, but I'm talking about waxed fruit. I'm not gonna go there. I ain't going there right now.
Yeah, don't touch them. Because there's somebody watching, they're gonna try to steal it and get your one up. But if you go to the Destiny House page, let me tell you something.
I'll be talking about that on Sunday.
My God, in to move away from that situation and bringing it into reality and where we are now as a people. For me, the question is, one, why do we hold celebrities to a higher standard that we hold ourselves to?
There's only one answer for that. Money.
That's right. And the question is, though, why do we feel like, okay, money, right? They have money, but they're still human.
Yeah.
So what bothers me is the fact that we hold them to a standard that we won't hold ourselves to.
Right.
We, and I say we as a people, like if we thought back to how we treat others, like without having a camera around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know, if we thought back to how we treat people in our day-to-day lives, what would that look like? Like what I know what but if we were being honest with ourselves,
this makes no sense because why do I need to hate you? What's the point? What is that going to do for me? You know, because I haven't wrapped my head around it, because if one of us makes it, we celebrate because we've all made it, whether we realize it or not. She made it. You know, that's a strike. That's a star.
Haven't you noticed,
on my board?
Haven't you noticed every time somebody, I'm just gonna say somebody, does something good or something nice, it's always somebody else talking about, well, she thought that she was this, she thought she was that, but she did this, and immediately they try to discredit the little bit of good that person does. Why did you make it that important to tear down the other person?
Yeah, because how did it affect your life is what kills me. Somebody can do something amazing, it'll be posted on social media, and then it'll be that one person that says, well, she didn't pronounce that word right.
Critical people.
Or it could be something that is life-changing to be like, yeah, but she had on yellow shoes with that outfit. And you're like, really?
You know what?
Her pinky wasn't polished the same color as the other one.
You know what? Misery loves company. Because you miserable.
That's right.
Now I got to be miserable with you just because you want to sit in a house and don't do nothing.
Do anything.
If you a man who don't work, don't eat.
Okay.
Don't.
You understand what I'm saying? When these eyes open in the morning, I get up. I start my day. I do something. Go outside, rake the leaves. I do something if I'm off for the day, unless I'm really tired and I just get that liberty to where I can relax. I'm just going to relax.
Because you've earned.
Because I've worked.
Okay, there you go.
I'm doing my work. I'm doing what God called me to do. I'm stepping into destiny, because a lot of times destiny is something that has to be discovered. A lot of times we don't know what it is. Most of the time we'll be walking in it. But we won't really understand what it is until the light come on, come on. And usually something devastating happens for us to recognize, okay, God. You see what I'm saying? But we shouldn't have to get to that point. We should already be recognizing what God has put in us, because he's coming for what he put in us. That's right. You know, and as a people, we have to understand that we need to come together. God created families, he created marriage, all of this stuff, believe it or not, it all ties in. That's right. And one thing I've come to understand is that man contaminates everything he puts his hand to.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
He contaminates it. Something that's meant to be joyous. Man touches it.
Yes.
And always try to create it into something else rather than let it
contaminates
and be what it was
meant to be. He contaminates. You know, Lord, people, Jesus. When you be careful how you put people in your boat, because they may just bore holes in it. Because you got one and they don't. They're going to bore holes in your boat.
Oh, now both of us ain't got no
boats. If you let water in the boat, what happens? The boat sinks. And then what happens then? Now you got to bail out.
See,
you're not getting on this boat.
Have mercy.
you
gonna learn today. You gonna take one for the team. You ain't getting in this
swim.
You sink or swim.
Call on the Lord. He didn't reveal that to me that you going to get in this boat. He got to reveal that to me. You ain't getting here. We ain't both about to die. That ain't what we gonna do. You got to sacrifice.
But what is it gonna take? I haven't wrapped my head around it, because there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on, and you look around and you say, where's all this coming from?
That's right.
And understanding that there is, the bottom line is that there is a spiritual force at work. That's the bottom line. There's a spiritual force at work, and we have to strive every day to kill this flesh.
Yes.
Because of the fact, if you don't kill the flesh will do stuff. Paul said, when I try to do good, evil is always present. Not so much on the outside, but the inner me. Yes. The enemy that's in me. Doesn't allow me to do what I should be doing or what I want to do. The things I want to do, I don't do. The things I would do, I don't do because of the fact of what's inside of me won't allow me to do it.
And that's a mental, because I just was saying this to someone, like the things that you're fighting are the things that you're not supposed to be fighting. The devil that you're supposed to be, it's like, well, I'm just going to let him win. It becomes the mental. Like where he has you so bound that you really believe the stuff that he's saying to you. Just, so it's just like you're fighting the people around you. When they are not the problem. The problem is that you are weak in your flesh and the devil is winning.
You're the problem.
You are not fighting. And this is my pastor just preached on Sunday about contaminated oil. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. When you said contaminant, I said, he gonna stop. Apostle, he been watching your sermon.
I didn't watch it. I wish I did. I'm gonna have to go on number 5.
Oh, that you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that one from Sunday. I was sitting in the congregation, like she said that too. Like I think we all was like, ooh, and she said that. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Because
you're not gonna play in polluted water. Because it's gonna do what? It's gonna make you sick.
That's right. That's right.
So then why would you play around polluted people?
That's right.
Because polluted people will pollute you.
And unfortunately, it becomes that comfort. Like we can't break that. Sometimes we're so comfortable because toxic behavior is what a lot of people have grown up in. Toxic behavior becomes comfortable.
Because it's what they know.
Because it's what you know. So anything that's on the outside of that, when somebody is trying to genuinely, show you the way, when somebody is genuinely trying to pour into you, we don't want any parts of that.
We
because
need
now
help.
We as a people
we need help, y'all. We gotta get this right, because the thing about it is how do we bring God in all of this? Exactly. That's the thing. How do we invite God? Because God don't invite himself into no mess. No. There has to be, hearts have to be stirred. The ground has to be tilled in order for the seed to be planted. There has to be a stirring. There's a process. A farmer, he don't just go out there and just pick up the, no, he turns that soil. And then when the soil's, tilled, he plants the seed, and then he waters the seed, and he watches, and he goes, you gotta do some things. And the fact of the matter is that the ground seems to be getting harder. The hearts, which is the ground.
Yes.
The hearts of people are getting harder and more callous.
That's right.
Why is that?
My God.
Because if God did it to Pharaoh, he said, I'm gonna make Pharaoh's heart hard. I'm gonna harden him. In other words, he's gonna see everything. He's gonna know that it's me. He's gonna know. But his heart is gonna get even more callous. And he will not let you go. But watch this. He said, I'm going to raise Pharaoh up, and then I'm going to kill him. Hear me today. I'm going to raise Pharaoh up, and then I'm going to cut him down. So what happens? Watch this. What happens when you out there fooling around with God's people or God's children, and you think God ain't going to come for you? He said, touch not mine anointed. Doesn't mean just the leaders. It doesn't mean just his leaders, because God is touchy by his leaders too. When God's got his hand on your life, you better be careful how you put your mouth and your hands on God's servants. But his children also, he's touchy about his kids.
Yes.
He said, when you done it to the least of them,
that's right,
you did it to me. See, if you want to anger God, mess with one of his kids.
It's like any parent.
Any parent. I'm coming for you.
Rub me the wrong way.
I'm coming. You mess with my kids, I'm coming for you.
Me too. No questions asked.
No questions asked. There will be no talking. There will be no praying. I'm sorry.
No.
He a preacher. Yes, I am. But you mess with my kids, y'all the same way.
Yes.
Mess with one of your kids. You ready to kill.
Don't hold me to the standard, because don't do that.
You ready to kill?
No.
But we gotta do better.
Me too.
We gotta do better. We gotta rally up. We gotta come together, because there's too much separation, and that's of the enemy.
Yes.
That's of the enemy. Abortions and all this other stuff, that's the enemy. You're killing generations. And see, that's the trick of the enemy, because the devil says, if I kill the prophet, I'll kill the prophecy. Because the prophecy is going to come from the prophet. If I kill the seed bearer, the seed won't come. It has always been a trick of the enemy to go after generations, because he tried to do it through Abraham, he tried to do it through Adam, he tried to do it through Christ. He said, I'm going to kill them before they're born. He said, if I get them while they're in the womb, they can't come out. Therefore, I'm good. Satan says, I'm good. The seed won't come. But every time, the seed always prevail. Because God always got a remnant to combat and to go against what the enemy is trying to do.
You said that. You dropped the mic. I thought you sat back like.
I'm going to just let that lay. I'll just let that lay right there, because I know that's a lot.
Look, you just. He said all that and he laid back like, that's it. Show's over. I did that.
He dropped a couple of seeds.
The end.
It's so much. It's so much to this. Maybe I need to write a book. I don't know.
No, you definitely need to look at that. You definitely need to write a book.
Because there's some. We need knowledge. We need wisdom.
Clearly, it's somebody that doesn't watch this show.
Just because you know something doesn't mean you know how to apply it.
That's true. That's true.
Wisdom comes when you can apply what you know.
That's right.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just up here.
That's right.
And it ain't doing nobody, not even you, any good. But when you can take from here and put it here,
that's right.
Now you don't. Now you're talking. Now you're doing something.
That's the reason why you got to write that book.
You know, and that you said was exactly why it was important for me to be in that room with all of that wisdom. You know, I love Oprah, but then I knew Michelle Obama was going to be there too. And, you know, like, she's just a force.
She's so classy.
Within herself. She's just a force. And when you have access to the room, the question is, what do you do when you get in the room? Right. So if I had gone and not come back with anything, then what was the purpose of me being there? You know, so it's important for us, to those of us that have the knowledge, those of us that even have been through, you know, it is a season, and the devil is absolutely busy. He's on a rampage. He's absolutely busy. He is working overtime.
This Joker acting a fool.
A complete fool. I mean, he's trying to run through families, marriages, your children, your churches. He is in a manner that I've never witnessed before. And it's important for us to stick together. It's important for us to have conversations. It's important for us to not hold on to animosity. Like, it's important that if my brother or sister, if I have done something or I've said something, you know, to offend, that you know, there's a door open where we can communicate. Because if we don't communicate, that just festers, and then the devil is really busy, because you done let him dwell in that place. And now he got your mind. Oh, they was trying to hurt you. They was trying to disrespect you. They was trying to... we have to, as a people, if we are going to get to where God has called us to be, we have to learn to come together. We have to learn to communicate. You know, and communicate with each other. It does no good to have conversations. If I have an issue with you, for me to tell Rob and Ty,
call me.
It does no, because now they done added fuel to the fire.
Yep.
And they done hype me up a little more. You know, and now I got a battery in my back, and they done talked about you too. And the thing is magnified in a manner that it wasn't intended.
It didn't have to get to that point.
Know?
If you just talked.
And I'm one of those people, I say all the time, like, I'm not perfect. And I don't think any of us like to be, reprimanded. I don't think any of us like, to be called out. Like, I don't think any of us like it.
I don't like confrontation.
Yeah, like, I don't
Not
think
even
any
with my
of us
wife. I don't
like it.
I try to avoid it. I try to, okay, I'm sorry, let's move on, because I just don't like it. I don't like confrontation.
I appreciate sorry, though. But see, when you don't discuss it, it just festers.
It festers,
You know, because
all types of thoughts and everything.
We're going to pretend that this never happened.
And it gets worse, because have you ever swept dirt on the rug?
Okay.
And then you end up sweeping more dirt on the rug. And then eventually when you try to walk across the rug, you almost trip because there's so much dirt under the rug. See, eventually you got to move the rug and get rid of the dirt.
I got one better. I went to the kitchen, and that joke was in my refrigerator. Hey, yo, what you doing here? Oh, hey, man, I've been here, man. I was under the rug, man. That joker stood up.
He had some cold dirt. Cold dirt.
In my refrigerator. Drinking orange juice.
He said, I was waiting for you.
And if you don't get out my refrigerator.
You gonna dress me now? Can we talk about this dirt now? You gonna clean me up?
All them leftovers that you left in the back. You thought that was gonna disappear sometime.
I need you to rewind.
Oh, that was a good one.
That went over your head, rewind that back.
That was a good one, Shika. Oh, God.
That's the God honest truth. Like, I think in order for us to be able to come together, in order for there not to be division, we have to have conversations. Like, we have to. I think that, again, it goes back to the holding people to a certain standard that you don't hold yourself to. Not just celebrities. Take them out of the equation. But, you know, if I want my brother or sister to be able to come to me when something is wrong, you know, I want to be able, it has to be a mutual thing. It has to be mutual. I think that, you know, we think that we're entitled to react in this manner, but we don't ever think, how would we feel if someone did it to us? You know, and I think that that's a part of the problem as a people, you know, in a whole, not just as Christians, but as people. I think that if we have conversations, we're so busy with gadgets and social media, and social media makes it easy to not have conversations. Like, instead, you know, people make it their diary, and I'm not taking away. If this is the way that you get your feelings across, I'm not judging you. Because you know what? That might just, you may not have friends or somebody to really be able to talk to. I'm not judging you. This is not for you. It is for you. But it's not for you. But, you know, because, you know, I'm sorry. I know, because I was like, okay, this is
it's not for you, but it is.
It's not for you, but it is for you. It's not for you because, you know, sometimes you would hate for people to feel like, with suicide being what it is, you know, sometimes that's people's cry for help. Yeah. So I don't ever want to tell somebody, don't put how you feel out there.
Sometimes,
because sometimes it's your cry for help, and you hoping that somebody will see it and care enough to pick up the phone and call you and say, "Are you okay?"
I've done it. I've done that. Literally, I could tell. You know, people were crying out, and I thank God for it. You know, and for some reason they gravitated to me, but I would talk them out of it. There's a few people I could call their name right now. You know, and they literally told me, and said, if I hadn't talked to you, I was going to kill myself.
That's right.
I was on my way to do it. He said, but I talked to you. You called me. You text me. You responded back. You know, because I hear the cry. I'm not going to ignore it.
That's right.
Because you're a soul. You're a soul of God. You were created by God. Therefore, you deserve life.
That's right.
Because he gave it to you. Anybody that takes life, you are in direct disobedience to God because you didn't give it. Therefore, God is going to judge you because you took a life that didn't belong to you.
Right.
You didn't create it. You didn't give it. You didn't breathe life into it, but you got the audacity to take it. And it don't belong to you. You're in direct disobedience to God. That's why God is against murder. Murder, and there's there's sins God will forgive, but he don't like murder. Cain and Abel, you know, he said, I heard your brothers, I heard your brother cry from the ground. How can you hear him when he's dead? Leviticus 11, I believe 11:17. The life of the flesh is what? In the blood. The blood speaks because the blood means life. When you take blood, you take life. Therefore, God says that's a no-no in my book. He don't like murder. Just like God don't like divorce. He don't really care for divorce. Because what does divorce do? It brings on a whole nother wind of stuff that don't have to be. Divorce, you know, even though he's a divorcee himself, that is biblical. He divorced Israel. He divorced the Jew. And he went to the Gentiles because he wanted to make them jealous.
Oh, here we go.
See, but that's not a grounds. I'm not giving nobody a grounds. I'm just giving you Bible. That's not a grounds for you to go get divorced. There's like grounds.
Mel said.
There's grounds for divorce. There's grounds. You better make sure you get the facts before you start going, oh, Melvin said I can divorce. No, I did not say that.
put the disclaimer out there.
There is a disclaimer. You better get the facts. There's grounds for that. But, you know.
Gotta watch what you marry, too.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah, just to have legs in your bed.
Okay. Just to say that you living right.
Just to have meat in the seat. No.
There's a whole lot of work that
You better hook yourself up with somebody that, come on, because you might wind up, come on here. You got here, you think you go to bed with J-Lo, you wake up with Jackhammer.
I'm walking off the stage. I'm out.
Come on, you go to bed.
That's it. It's over.
You go to bed with Boaz and wake up with Bozo and wonder what happened. You better get this thing. Listen, we got to be smart. Look, we got to be smart about what we do, because the fact of the matter is that there are choices.
Yes.
And if we don't make the right choice, you will suffer. You will go through life suffering. Yes. I'm glad that my mama kept me from certain women, certain girls. My mama was very overprotective. They still to this day, Melvin, I couldn't talk to you because your mama wouldn't let me. Mm-hmm. Well, evidently, mama saw something that I didn't.
For real.
I'm not going to say that.
Mama usually does.
I'm not going to go to my mama and say, Mama, why you ain't? No. I'm glad. I'm glad because I ain't been around the corner and back. Right. I'm proud of that. I have not been around the corner and back. I'm glad to say that, because I wouldn't want that reputation. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want that reputation. Mm-mm. You know, I had a name to uphold. If God never anointed me, if I couldn't sing, play, do the things that I'm doing now, the fact of the matter is that my name stands alone. I'm a Robinson. They know, oh, you Mel's boy.
I think that is what people don't.
Your name. Live the legacy of your name. Because Bishop Noel Jones said people are doing with their titles what they can't do with their names.
That's a topic for another
show.
My
name stands alone.
He just might drop that. I'm gonna have. Let me might drop that, because we're gonna leave it. Pin that right there. My name stands alone. Say my name. Say my name.
Here you go.
Because I have to make these announcements real quick on these two events. That part.
Next show.
My name stands alone is the name of the next show.
That's a whole nother show.
My name.
That's a whole nother show.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll do the Destiny House first.
Okay.
If that's what's already up there, it's fine. So, Destiny House Christian Center presents Know Your Assignment. It is a conference from March 11th through March 14th. Wednesday and Friday's events will be held at Destiny House Christian Center, located at 70 North Main Street in Freeport, New York, at 7:30. The Saturday event, though, listen very carefully. Saturday's event is not at Destiny's house. Saturday's event will be held at Freeport Bible Center, which is located at 50 North Main Street in Freeport, and that starts at 9 o'clock a.m. Now, Wednesday, March 11th at 7:30, we'll have Dr. Jacqueline Gates. If you do not know who she is, you are living under a rock. Jesus. She is a powerhouse. Every time she comes to Destiny House, I get excited. On Thursday, we will have Lady Leona Mickey. Friday, March 13th, Pastor Dion Daniels. And on Saturday, March 14th at 9 a.m., we have Pastor Lakeisha Stevenson. And at 1 o'clock p.m., still on Saturday, we have Pastor-elect Joseph Brown, who was actually here a few weeks ago from Destiny House. Please remember, Saturday's event is not at Destiny House. It is at Freeport Bible Center. And we also have performances for this conference that include Lady Cheryl Sharp, Serena Tyson, Morgan King Richards, and Naomi Rain is the featured artist. This is a free event. I actually met her a few years ago. Actually, she did one of Beautifully Unique's events. Our Youth Explosion.
She's so genuine.
Amazing.
I love all of them. All of them. Cheryl,
free event. Everyone is welcome.
Yes.
For more info, please call 877-698-3422, extension 1. Again, that is 877-698-3422. Mark your calendars. March 11th through the 14th, Destiny House Christian Center. Know Your Assignment Conference. And also on that Saturday, that Saturday of the event, my organization, Beautifully Unique Incorporated, Bowling for a Cause fundraiser, which is celebrating the life and legacy of my mom, Miss Myrtle, and we're raising funds for the Myrtle Stewart Austin Scholarship Fund, which we created last year in her honor to help some students at Wyandanch continue their education. So that will be Saturday, March 14th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Farmingdale Lanes, which is located at 999 Conklin Street in Farmingdale, New York. $26 per person, which includes bowling, shoe rental, pizza, and soda. And if you are not bowling, but you just want to come to hang out, it is $15 per person.
I'm coming to eat.
Come on and hang out.
You better not let me miss this one.
You better not miss this one. Because I'm going to call you out on air.
Before you do that, how about you text me?
Payments can be made in cash, by credit card, and via Cash App at $BBE Unique INC. Donations are appreciated and welcome. And if you have any questions, please contact me at beautifullyuniqueinc@gmail.com. So again, that is March 14th from 3 to 6, Farmingdale Lanes. Be there. It is for an amazing cause. I'm super excited. This year, my goal is last year we did two scholarships. This year I want to be able to do 3. So I need you guys to come out and support. You see the flyers, please share the flyers, phone a friend, tell them to come out. If you knew my mother, her name speaks for itself. She loved the youth. She loved her community. So please come out, support my organization as we raise funds for the scholarship in her name. The countdown is on. It has been yet another awesome show. I thank you, Mel, for always coming and just using your gift to pour into God's people.
To God be the glory.
Ty, I'm so happy that you are back. Semi-back, kind of back. You back?
I'm back.
She kind of back. She abandoned ship, but it's okay. We let her back on the boat. You see how that happens? We let her back on the boat.
Because I ain't going to poke holes in this boat, okay?
She came up. Came when the anchor came up. She was on the anchor, riding on the anchor. Said, I'm getting on this boat.
I'm not going to leave. You the hard way. Thank you guys for being awesome. I thank you guys for stepping in when she jumped ship. And I thank you guys for watching. We will be back. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. Next Tuesday. Who knows where God is going to lead us next week? Every show is a different show. There's no continuations. God just moves. And I'm grateful for that. So I thank you guys for tuning in. And I will see you again next Tuesday, God willing. God bless you. Have a good day. And this is still behind the scenes.